What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to the first video of my E3 2018 coverage. I am incredibly excited to bring you guys the hottest gaming news that is coming out of the show, because I have been doing this for a while now. In fact, this is my 6th E3 that I am actually going to be covering here on the channel. Now, I will say, some of the previous coverage has been a little bit spotty here and there. I've made a couple of videos.
Like Black Ops 2 is going to be there, all the Assassin's Creed 3, the new Tom Clancy game, which is like Tom Clancy, not Ghost Recon, it's like something else.
They weren't that great, but we have improved over the years, and this is going to be the best year of coverage yet. In today's video, we're going to be focusing specifically on the predictions of this year's show. In the past, I've done predictions for everything from Ubisoft and EA to PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. I've done a lot of prediction videos, but this year we're going to focus on the main three that I think everybody really look to whenever they think about conferences, and that is, of course, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. In previous years, I've made separate videos for Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. However, this year I thought I would lump everything into one, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. For each individual company, I will give you 3 predictions that are possible and may happen at this year's show. And first off, we have PlayStation, with PlayStation now getting a full rework. That includes pricing that competes with the Xbox Game Pass, more stability on the back end of things, and the ability to download titles directly to the system. For those that don't know what PlayStation Now is, it is pretty much a streaming service that allows users to stream PlayStation games to their system, and it is okay, but it's way too expensive. It is unstable a majority of the time, and on top of that, it just is getting killed by Xbox Game Pass, which is making things like State of Decay 2 have over 2 million players a couple of weeks after launch. PlayStation could certainly benefit from that. On top of that, I would love to see the return of the massive action game MAG. For those that don't know what this is, there's a video on my channel where I said that they should bring back MAG. It has gotten a ton of people behind it, a ton of likes, a ton of shares. There are people signing a petition to bring MAG back, and for those that don't remember massive action game, it was developed by Zipper Interactive that actually shut down back in 2012, unfortunately. They were also the developers of the SOCOM franchise, as well as a game on the PlayStation Vita by the name of Unit 13. But essentially, the main thing that was impressive about MAG is that back on the PlayStation 3 during that generation, it was unheard of to have a large amount of players online at one time, but the massive action game was able to do that by getting 256 players online in a single match going against each other. In a world where MMOs are making a huge resurgence, and also Battle Royale games like Fortnite and PUBG are becoming increasingly popular, I think that MAG could have a very definitive spot within that kind of ecosystem. The question is, who would develop it? Zipper doesn't exist anymore, I'm not exactly sure, but it should definitely happen, and I would be very grateful if it did. Again, that one's a stretch, but it's possible. And finally, for the third prediction for PlayStation, I think that name changes could be in the works for this year, because they have been working on it for so long on the back end of things. It is ridiculous that I am still known as all caps awesome lowercase gamer 875. I am now 21 years old. I cannot live that down. Sony, please get some engineers working on that stuff. That is ridiculous. Next up, we have Xbox, and the first prediction that I want to make is that Crackdown 3 gets a cancellation and/or no mention at all. Just kidding, it's probably going to have a small spot, but we need a release date for this game. Okay, either that or a cancellation. It's time to either or get off the pot with this one. It has been revealed since 2014. We have had Terry Crews doing promos for it. It is time to make a move with this one. Is it coming out? Is it not? Are you still working on it? What's happening with the game? We need a definitive update. I can't just get my news through the grapevine of what's going on with this title. It's a big Xbox franchise. We need to know if there's a reason to continue playing Xbox One or not. Next, I would love to see an Xbox One X price drop, because man, that thing is still really expensive. So in the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to be seeing the next generation of consoles teased, revealed, and released. It simply is going to happen. Xbox is going to come out after PlayStation 5, or whatever it ends up being called, I would say, if I had to predict it myself. But when it comes down to it, the Xbox One X is going to be the most powerful console over the next couple of years. So if it were to come in at a price point of, say, around $350, $375, somewhere around there, even $400, to be on the same level as the PS4 Pro as far as price goes, would definitely push this console into more gamers' hands and make it much more profitable than it is now. Even if you might be losing a couple of bucks for each individual sale, it could be a big game changer for Microsoft if they chose to drop the price of this console. I haven't bought one because it is a very expensive piece of hardware, and that's what happens when in the middle of a console cycle you release a console with the same name as the predecessor, except the difference is one letter and apparently it's a little bit more powerful. This is what happens. And finally, we have the Halo 6 reveal, which I believe is going to be happening very, very early on in the conference. I would say they might even debut the conference with the reveal of Halo 6. It's been a couple of years since we've seen Halo 5. I think that it's going to look pretty similar to Halo 5 in many regards, including the fast-paced gameplay. But it's time for another Halo, and on top of that, I would love to see the mention of the Halo Master Chief Collection and how they're going to go about rolling out fixes to the game, maybe what they're going to do in the future, maybe even a re-release or a soft launch of the game for a fresh start kind of thing, or maybe everybody that buys and pre-orders Halo 6 could get both Halo 5 and the Master Chief Collection bundled in. That might be a little bit much, but I want some Halo news. It is time to bring back the Chief. Moving on to Nintendo, the first prediction that has been all but confirmed is that Fortnite is coming to the Switch. So earlier in the day that I am recording this on, June the 5th, there was a leak that the eShop accidentally put out that does reveal that Fortnite is all but coming to the Switch. So this one is probably going to happen, and I would say that the game could be available as soon as the day that it is announced at E3. That would be a pretty cool thing to see. But the one request that I have here is that you cannot do crossplay between PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, or whatever the thing is. I think it's PC, Xbox One, and Switch. Don't let Switch players play with other console players or PC. I mean, it's a young audience already. Gotta separate the skill, you know what I'm saying? Next up, we need some Smash Bros. Gameplay and a definitive release date. This is one of the biggest console titles that is going to be hitting the Switch, and we need some information on it. Odyssey was a big hit. You had Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, another big hit. Smash Bros. Could carry for 2018, I guarantee you that. So I would love to see more gameplay, a couple of character reveals. I have seen a couple of people mention that Solid Snake could be making a comeback for Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch, so we'll have to wait and see, but I am very excited to hear more about that as the news does roll out. I guess we'll just have to see what Nintendo chooses to reveal. And the final prediction for Nintendo is that they are going to reveal the Switch bundle that does not include the television dock, because that cuts the price immensely for those that are trying to get in on the console on the cheap. So this was revealed a couple of weeks back overseas, but it has not been confirmed for a US release. But the way that it works is that it undercuts the price of the Switch, or at least the entry-level model, by taking out that television dock, because quite frankly, whenever I had a Switch, I never used it anyway. I was always in handheld mode, so that shaves a little bit of money off the price. More and more people can get in on the Switch for a lower price. It's a win-win all around, and at the end of the day, Nintendo can still sell those docks for just as much as they always have, even though it is a glorified piece of plastic with an HDMI converter. And that wraps it up for my E3 2018 predictions. I hope that you guys can stick around for more content over the course of the next week as I go over everything that is coming out of E3 2018, or at least everything that is significant to me. And of course, you can follow me over on Twitter at PrettyChillGuy if you did want to keep up to date with all the up-to-the-minute news, because I will be tweeting a ton. In fact, if you know me in real life and you don't care about my gaming stuff, I would recommend you put me on mute for at least 2 weeks. That's probably the best option. But for those that might be new here, I appreciate you taking the time to check out what I am bringing to the table. I hope to see you in the content over there live on Twitch, wherever I might be. Keep up to date as you can over there on Twitter. I will talk to you soon, and if I don't, enjoy E3 2018. Peace.